Welcome to the Mom Founders Table. Pull up a chair and join me every week as I become your thought partner and help you lead to create change. I'm your host, Kelsey Kenry, entrepreneur, millionaire mom of three, and strategic business coach for established mom entrepreneurs. Every week, you will get tactical guidance to apply to your business, leadership, and life that will help you further your true success while also being invited into a new way of thinking and being that creates true freedom. I'm here to call you out and call you up, so take a seat and let's begin. Welcome back to another episode of the Mom Founders Table. And if I'm being honest with you guys, recording this episode today is simply a miracle. So if you are a weekly listener, you probably noticed there was audio issues for like 3 episodes that I recorded, and there was a video issue. And honestly, tech stuff is the most annoying thing to me. That is one place where it's like I really have to woo-saw, because if there's anything I truly dislike, it's wasting time. And I know that time is truly our greatest asset because it's the one thing that we can't get back. So today we are back with our good camera. We have a brand new mic, and let's just hope that this works. So talking about our greatest asset being time, today we're talking all about how to tell if your business is actually profitable enough. The reason why profitability matters is because profitability actually determines the health of our business. And when I say the health of your business, I'm talking about the longevity and the sustainability, and even the scalability is really predicted by your profit margins. And while I am not a CPA, I am not a tax strategist, I am not a bookkeeper, I have been around the block for so many years and learned the hard way about not having financial clarity and what that can truly do to our business. My hope today is that you really think about the profitability of your business. I give you some great insights on how to tell if your business is profitable enough, and also that you have a great financial team in your corner that is doing your books, that is advising you on tax strategies. And if you need any recommendations for those people, I have such amazing people that I can send you to. So let's talk about profitability. Let's talk about how what we see a lot of times, especially portrayed on social media, is big ant numbers, right? People are having, $100,000 months. People are doing $1 million in a year. People are doing $5 million in a year. The cool thing about this is that I really believe that social media has pushed us to feel into the discomfort that we as women feel around money. And it's normalized talking about money, especially as women, because if you even go back 10 years, right? Any books about money and making a lot of money were primarily written by men. Any sort of like billionaire status, like media, was centered around men. And so I love that over the last few years that it has become normal for women to talk about how much money they're making, and for us to really see as business owners what is possible for us. And while everything is going to vary by industry, by service type, by capacity, all of those things, your business model should be your own. And I feel like it's important to preface this with a couple of things. Number one, these giant numbers that you typically see are revenue. This is the top line of what somebody is bringing in and does not account for any sort of expenses that are coming out of that number. The other thing that I want to say is that if you feel, when you see these numbers, comparison, if you feel like you're failing, if you feel like, why am I not there yet? I would offer you to inquire deeper into that. because what I know to be true, because I definitely got caught up in the trap of like, wait, why have I been doing this so long and they're, making more money than me or whatever the thing is? Why have I been doing this so long and I'm not there yet? And what I realize is that for me, for my value system and for my priorities, that my capacity looks different, that my season of life looks different. And I am not one to ever use motherhood as an excuse. But for me personally, my ideal working hours are somewhere, and this will vary on weeks that I'm running a retreat or doing VIP days, but an average work week for me is around 25 hours. And that allows me to basically have my working hours while my kids are in school. That allows me to prioritize my mental and physical health in the morning. That allows me to have time with my husband, that I'm present. That allows me to not be on call or on meetings all the time. And so for me, it's really going back to redefining what success is. And so I feel like it's important to share as I get into this episode today, because I want you to make a lot of money. I want you to be more successful than you are right now. And I want you to be clear on what that looks like for you. And I don't just want you to go after it because it's what you think you need to solve a deeper level problem of feeling like you're not enough. Because the truth is, the best place that you can build from is enoughness. The best place that you will attract the most abundance into your life is your most confident version of yourself. So that's my little spiel for you as we get into profitability today and talking about your business being profitable enough. Please know that every business model looks different and should look different, and that it should be built around what your needs, priorities, and values are. So I want to share a story with you because this is a great example of why profitability matters. I had a client that came to me about a year ago, and she was doing about 5 million a year in her business. And from the outside, everything was thriving. And then behind the scenes, when we really started to dig into clarity around her numbers, which she unfortunately was not getting from her prior financial team, which we also fixed, she was not profitable. In fact, she was racking up debt. She found herself in the red, and it got to the point where she didn't know how there was going to be enough cash to keep the business open and pay off debts. And the issue with this is she was working so much still. She also has a team of about 50. She had a full leadership team paying out multiple six-figure salaries. And when we look at that and we really step back into the bigger picture, it's like you're waking up and you're putting in effort every single day for what result? Because the truth is that as women, we can be so tied to our caregiving and our responsibility for others that we normalize not taking care of ourselves. And this is why profitability matters, because profitability is what you're bringing home. And so in this case, it was really about reworking the team structure, letting a lot of people go, fully utilizing the staff that she had, figuring out profit margins of her current services, and then adding in some private pay services so that she had some higher margins around things. And the result of this, obviously, was her overhead decreased significantly, allowing her margins to grow. And so we see this a lot. People start making money, and the more money they make, the more that's going out. And one of the biggest issues that I see is people are not fully utilizing the teams or the platforms or the things they already have. And what I will tell you is that from my childhood experience, one of my strengths is resourcefulness. And for better or worse, this plays into a lot of my coaching because I'm always thinking about how we can be more resourceful and how we can utilize what we have to be more efficient and more profitable. So we were able to do that for her. But I'm sharing this example for you because a business from the outside that's doing 5 million a year, that is treating all of these patients, that is truly making a mark and a difference in the world, behind the scenes, the CEO did not feel good. She was struggling mentally. She was stressed. She was overwhelmed. She did not feel supported, even with a team of 50. And there was no cash flow. There was nothing left after all expenses were paid. So thankfully, we've been able to fix that. She has a great financial team, and we've implemented all the other things that I talked about, plus so much more. She is a remarkable human that is, I feel like, only getting started on so many levels, and I'm so excited to see what we're able to create for her. But the real problem here, was that she simply wasn't paying herself, right? And we see this happen a lot with business owners of they're putting everything back into the business. And there's certain points in times where this makes sense, right? To where if we are making an upfront investment and we can see, okay, I'm making this investment now that's going to cut out all of my profits for, let's say, this month and next month or the next 3 months. But after this is put in place, then it's going to double or triple or whatever it is, it's going to pay off, every single month for years, right? So that's what I like to tell people when I'm talking about coaching, because I'm like, this is an investment that you're making either, paid in full for the year or monthly, but everything that you implement into your business literally pays off for the life of your business. So you're going to make back much more than you're going to put in. So let's first, for clarity, discuss the difference between profit and revenue, right? So what I like to say is revenue is vanity and profit is sanity. The reason being because, once again, profit is what we are bringing home. Profit is the buffer that we have. And profit is the extra cash that we have that we can do what we want with, right? And obviously, for tax purposes, we want to be strategic with this profitability. But that being said, we want that option, right? So if you are making $50,000 a month, but your expenses are $48,000 a month, you have a $2,000 profit, which is not nothing, but that's very low margins. Typical profit margins are going to range based upon your industry, right? So I have some industries that can be closer to like a 50 or a 60% profit margin. And then I have other industries, because there's location, there's other expenses that are just part of that industry, that are closer to 30, 35. Typically for my clients across the board, I don't like to see anything lower than 30%, because that 30% profit margin gives us healthy freedom of choice, right? And that's really what this is about. If we're going to invest our time, our energy, and our effort into something, then we should be well paid. And overflow is our birthright as women, as humans. There is no reason why we have to just accept that having enough is enough. And so if you feel that way, if you find yourself just like settling, right? Just getting to the point of like, okay, well, all of my bills are paid and I am able to pay myself a salary, and like I'm able to, all of our bills are paid at home and all the business bills are paid. That's wonderful. And that is a huge milestone that you should be very, very proud of. And you also can have overflow. And what's funny is that this was one of my hardest barriers as somebody who grew up like with scarcity in one of my households and feeling like there was never enough and carrying that into adulthood, and then coming to this point of realizing that there was a lot of overflow. And so my tendency was always just to save everything, to hoard everything, because I was afraid, right? What if this doesn't last? What if it all falls apart? Like these stories that we tell ourselves. And I remember when my CFO was like, we need to bump your payroll up. And I was like, oh, like for what? Like, why? Like, I don't need any more. And she's like, well, would you like to scale your lifestyle? And I was like, ooh, like just that simple question made me really reflect on like, oh, this is rubbing up against something, right? Like this is me questioning if I'm worthy enough of having things that are not necessity, right? And so there's a lot of this that plays a role in how you treat your business and how you set up your business. Because if you don't believe that you are worth having overflow, if you don't believe that you can hold and be a good steward of money, it's not going to happen. And so I had to do a lot of deep internal work to figure out like, oh, it's safe for me to be abundant. It's actually safe for me to have and hold a lot of money. And so this is why profitability matters. And this is the difference, right? Revenue is that big top line that you're bringing in. That is all the income that's coming into your business. Our profit is what is left when we take out all of our expenses. And I include payroll in this as well. You could see it broken down different ways. And some people, when they're referring to profit, don't think about their payroll, but I believe that we should always include our pay to ourselves as part of our expense because that should be a non-negotiable. If you're working, you should be paid. Okay, so let's talk about like how to do an actual profitability check on your business, right? So I want you to look at the last 3 to 6 months of your P&Ls, right? And on your P&L, you should be able to see what your income was, what your top line revenue was, and what was left after all expenses, including payroll. That bottom number, what percentage of that is the top line number? This is going to be your profit margin. And so the first part of this profitability check is to ask yourself, are you keeping between 30 and 50% of what you're making? And again, this is going to vary a bit by industry, but I would say using at least that 30% as your marker. Are you keeping 30% of what you are making? And in that 30% that you are keeping, or in whatever you are keeping, are you paying yourself consistently? Because just like I said, if you are working and you're leading the team, you're leading this business, you should be paid. You deserve to be paid for your work. I'm not here for like the entrepreneurship victim mentality. It's very easy to get caught up in. It's very easy to say like, entrepreneurship is so hard and I'm running myself into the ground and I'm doing all these things and it's all for a dream. And I hear you, and it is hard. And also, that is your choice, right? So are you paying yourself consistently? When you're looking at what needs to be made month after month, year after year, are you in those goals, including your dream pay? I talked about this, I think it was on the last episode. What is the number? What is that take home number for you that allows you to live a life that feels free and gives you freedom and flexibility to make the choices and live the way that you want to? This is a really important number to know. So if you don't know this, make sure that you figure this out. So number one, are you keeping at least 30% of what you're making? Number two, are you paying yourself consistently? Number three, do you have stability in your business? Do you have predictability in your business? Do you have recurring pay from your services that you can rely on month to month? This is why anybody that I ever work with that is primarily project-based, we will always create some sort of recurring offer because there is a level of exhale that comes with being able to look ahead. And sometimes that, even if you are project-based, sometimes it's just like the payment plans of like, for my designer clients, if there's a deposit up front and then, things are built out, let's say over 6 or 12-month project, there's income coming in. But some sort of predictability that can allow for you not feeling like you're chasing clients month after month and year after year because you will be so exhausted. So are you paying yourself? Are you keeping at least 30%? And do you have recurring revenue coming in? If the answer to any of these is no, then you know what you need to work on. So here's some places that I will clean up with clients that are definitely profit killers. And my favorite thing is being able to like immediately pay for myself. Because it's one thing to be able to install new things into a business that create expansion of revenue that pays back for years and years and years. But it's really cool to be able to come in and say, okay, if we actually get rid of these things or make these changes, then this is going to cover my costs. So here's some places where I'm always looking for my profit killers, right? First place, over delivery, right? So many people are operating out of scope. And if you're operating out of scope, you are doing services and spending time and possibly pulling in team and paying for team hours for things you're not getting paid for. So where are you over delivering? Where are you operating out of scope? Where are you not being clear in your communications up front about what the scope is for your clients so they know? And where are you not setting boundaries when they're asking you to operate out of scope? Underpricing. This is simply said, right? So really, if you want to increase your profit margins, there's two ways to do that. You increase your prices, you decrease your expenses. Increase of prices can also be added offers that have a higher profit margin. So there's a variety of ways that I do this in business, but typically businesses are undercharging for at least one of their services. And depending again on the model and the quantity of people in a certain service or offering, there's a lot of potential that can come from even a slight price increase. If we think about year over year, there's inflation, like everywhere increases their prices except for entrepreneurs. We're so afraid to do it because we're so afraid of losing people that we shoot ourselves in the foot. So where are you undercharging? Where have you not raised your prices in more than a year, more than 2 years? Or more than that. Expenses that you're not using. So doing things like a tech stack audit, looking at all the platforms that you're paying for, having your assistant go through just a couple of months of like all the recurring charges can usually pull back at least a few $100s a month, because we always like get excited about new platforms or new things that come out and then we never actually integrate them into our processes. So then we're just paying for something every month that we're not using. And then team inefficiencies, right? So this is what I was speaking about earlier about truly being resourceful, right? You would be so surprised. We're very black and white when it comes to team members, and it's really interesting to see because we'll set up a role, we'll hire somebody into that role, and we just expect that role is not supposed to change or evolve, also knowing that humans are supposed to change and evolve. And so I love really going in and saying, okay, so what are the gaps that we're seeing? Who do we have on staff? What have you seen from them as their strengths, their weaknesses, their real zone of genius? And actually doing role revisions to be able to fully utilize our team, because it is truly just like chef's kiss when you get the right people in the right roles and you stop feeling like you have to hire for every little thing and you start thinking more resourcefully about like, you know what, like this person on my team, actually, when in our last feedback loop, she said that she was interested in learning more about that. So I wonder if that's something that she could do. And then we could float something else to this person. So there's just, it's being creative in the way that we're delegating. It's having feedback loops with our team to see, again, strengths, weaknesses, zone of genius, interests, where they want to grow, how they want to grow. So those communications really matter. And then just, again, being strategic with like how we place things and making sure that we have really good processes, making sure that we're not making things harder on ourselves, right? Making sure that we're not, sometimes we feel like we just need to hire people because we're doing so much, but then we hire people and we're still don't delegate things. And so the problem ends up becoming you or has always been you, I should say. So really looking at where the inefficiencies with team are and how we're underutilizing team, or we have inefficient processes as well. So I want you to do this little quick audit and go through the 3 questions I gave you. It will literally take you 5 minutes. And remember that awareness and clarity is power, right? Don't be somebody who avoids looking at the numbers in your business because it's really important. I know that sometimes, especially when your business is growing and you have, your overhead is 50 grand a month or 100 grand a month or more than that, right? And it's like it can feel really scary to have big expenses like that. But here's the thing, like avoidance is never going to keep you connected to your power. We can only do something different or make a change when we are clear on what exactly is going on. So go through the little 3-question audit that I gave you. Make sure that you are looking at, okay, what is my current profit margin? What is my average current profit margin? How far away am I from that 30 to 50%? Am I paying myself consistently? Am I paying myself enough? What is my dream number? And then also, what are ways that we can put recurring income into the business? Or what are ways that we can prioritize getting more people into a recurring offer that I have? And if you've ever felt like, I am making good money, but I don't feel financially secure or stable. If you feel like, okay, my revenue looks really impressive, but my take home pay feels like shit. If you constantly are wondering like where your money's going, I want you to come to my upcoming free live masterclass, Your Most Profitable Quarter Yet. I am teaching you all about how to clean up your pricing, your offers, and really be able to get more sales without adding more hours to your plate. So that link will be in the show notes for you. I want you to be able to keep more of what you're earning and raise the profitability of your business. And of course, have your biggest and most profitable quarter yet. So join me for that class. It's going to be my biggest and best class ever. The curriculum is incredible and I cannot wait to teach you guys. So grab your spots at the link in the show notes and I will talk to you guys next week.